Hi, my name is Dr. Jamie Klingman. I am a business broker based out of Tampa, Florida, but licensed in several states. I think what makes me a different kind of broker is I became a broker because I sold my own company and realized how few brokers really understood the under $10 million business space.
My name is Sam Martinez. I'm a business broker with the Exit Strategy Company. And I got into this business because I sold my business as well about 5 years ago. And now I get the privilege to help others exit from their businesses as well.
Sam Martinez,
Mrs. Klingman,
how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I know we're supposed to talk about SBA, but I know our pre-conversation was starting our own country. So we've been talking about starting, selling businesses. How about selling countries? I think that'd be a good parallel move.
There are some countries I would be interested in being a part of that deal for sure. But in the
Oh,
meantime, we should
gee.
probably sell some businesses.
Yeah, no, let's get back to SBA. I'm sorry. So the impetus of that conversation was actually, okay, so we're in a little bit of a government shutdown, whatever that means. Well, it means that SBA is not working right now, which makes it difficult for deals to go through. So specifically when it comes to deals that are being actively worked on or we're trying to underwrite, um, that's a challenge amongst other challenges. So what does that mean for somebody in the middle of this process or those who might be further along enough to get going on closing?
So for right now, it almost everybody's probably okay. So we're all going to hope that SBA reopens to its full structure and that everything's fine. But eventually, what could become a problem is that even for the banks that are able to do their own underwriting, there will become a point that deals can't be necessarily closed. But I was thinking about that either way. SBA is just not always the right answer. It's the right answer a lot of the time. We love when it's the right answer for buyers and sellers because it lets sellers take a much larger portion other than all cash. That's probably the best deal you're ever going to get. And for buyers, it lets them know exactly what they're going to be paying so they can do accurate forecasting. It lets them buy stronger businesses because they're typically those businesses, the sellers are going to want more cash down. So, it's really a win-win. But there are times that there are great businesses that for lots of reasons just don't fit the SBA model. And so what we are looking at is what are other ways to buy a business besides using the SBA?
Absolutely. And by the way, just looking at trends from 2024 to 2025, yeah, trends, especially in the under 10 million valuation stage, it's kind of subset. They are down slightly, and which also means that valuations are down slightly as well when it comes to multiples. And so many people might think, man, what a terrible time to sell. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Or, all the stuff that's happened with SBA, horrible, the tightening of restrictions, the having to personally guarantee, even if you're a minority owner, at least for a number of years, that's a bad thing. Well, it's a less flexible thing. It's not a bad thing because what we saw, I know you and I are actually, get front row seats on this from seeing previous deals and other people's deals that did not have that weren't very tight financially are now having issues. And so, these banks are taking a bath, and so is the SBA on some of those deals. So the the SBA lending being more restrictive is not a bad thing for the longevity of that business that you're buying and also for sellers. So, a couple of things. Like, what's your thoughts on, okay, I'm thinking of selling, knowing that, okay, maybe getting more money up front might be more restrictive. What should I be doing?
So something to think about is with the SBA's newer tightening restrictions, one of the big losses in terms of being for a seller was that previously you could stay on. You could choose to stay on, and at especially at under 19%, you would be able to keep some equity, continue to build. That makes buyers happy. Some wins there. With that not being there, some things to think about would be, are there opportunities for the you as the seller to seller finance? So that doesn't mean take no money down. You would want to take at least as much as the SBA was taking, if not more. But that might be an opportunity to actually make more money in the long run because you're getting interest. So, interest rates can fluctuate. Generally they're around 11 to 13% right now um, on business deals. So, if you don't need the whole chunk of cash right now, that can be a great way to actually make more money in your sale than you would have made. So you're not making it on the company value side, but you are making it on in total cash into you winds up being more because of that, which is can be a great option. Another thing to think through is if you're moving on to something else, and it's going to be something else that you already have planned and it's going to make more money anyway, sitting waiting to sell over a certain percentage may not make sense because you may be losing more in the long run by not going ahead and selling versus trying to go ahead and sell and then be able to move on and go to that thing that you want to spend more of your passion and time on.
Yeah. So it's very dependent on what your personal goal is. But well, I do like for the right person, the seller financing portion because it's another technique that has been utilized and we've utilized is getting somebody in, buying, seller finance, and then doing a certain balloon payment in the future, where a lot of times it's much easier to do a refi under SBA once the new owner has been owner for at least 2 years than it is to try to get that initial underwriting. And so, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if there is a way to make it work, and again, the seller in the long run may make more money because they're getting the interest rates and all those things on top of it, they're making more. And for sure, refinancing is always easier. And ideally, you now have somebody who's working in the business with you, so those financials become stronger. That helps the business valuation go up. That helps you also make more in the end.
Yep. And by the way, you have that longevity, you have that proven track record, which is very necessary, especially if you're doing an asset purchase. And I know we were just talking about that. You're doing an asset purchase, you have a brand new entity, you have no history. But doing something like that, now you're showing history. So, hey, even though SBA might be more restrictive, and it is still the main way most companies under an enterprise value, I would say of 10 million, 7 million and under, is finance, and it should be because the terms are great and it's designed for that. But I would tell sellers and buyers, don't let that deter you from looking for a solution. We haven't even talked about ESOPs, for instance, when it comes to succession or other techniques that can be
That's
done. So
those are whole other conversations.
yeah, a whole other
That's
conversation. We ain't gonna talk about that right now.
yeah,
So, but yeah, so if you're thinking SBA, if government's closed or the restrictions are too much, no, there's many creative ways that you can get to your goal. So good
sounds
talk.
good. Talk soon.
See ya.